Welcome to Between the Mics podcast, where we will talk about anything and everything. Who knows? We might talk about sports games that we're watching, what's going on in our lives outside of podcasting and streaming, motivational things that we want to share, the live streaming that we're doing, the games that we're playing, and who knows, probably some tech. But all I know is that there will be lots of laughs and great stories told. Between the mics, you have myself, known as TheAwesomeDado online, or you can just call me Mike, and my co-host, known as FlintyTDog online, or you can call him AJ. We appreciate and are excited to have you here and joining us and listening to us as we take you through our chaotic mayhem of thoughts between the mics. Gang, what is going on? You have Dado here, and we are super excited to bring you another amazing episode of Between the Mics podcast. Before we get to it, we wanted to thank each and every one of you for continuously coming back and hanging out with us as we take you through the journey in our chaotic minds of Between the Mics. As we go into this next episode, we did want to let you know that we had some technical difficulties as we were trying to capture many different audio files from across the United States via the internet during some bad weather. So we hope that you can stick around and enjoy this amazing episode with our newest friend. Stay tuned. Gang, welcome on in. We have another amazing episode for you tonight. I'm here with Flinty, Gabs, and Brian. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we're chilling. I'm super excited. We've made a new friend again as we're hanging out in all kinds of streams nowadays. It's super exciting. But I am curious, Flinty, what's going on with the studio, man? I heard that you got some new and improved stuff going on.
I do. I actually mounted my TV, got a couple more monitors.
Look at you, all professional.
yeah.
We can see you now.
I actually got a freaking webcam now.
Y'all can just wait till the end to do whatever y'all were doing during the intro. What is that about, dude?
Listen, we got to get ready for this podcast, man. Whatever it takes,
a little bit of woota.
Yeah, we end up starting the episode like last one with the Waffle House theories, man.
Oh.
We're just laughing the whole time.
Right? Yeah, I'm sitting here going, "Oh God, okay, get it together, get it together, get it together. You got this."
We forget to bring in Craig during all that. You're like, what?
I know. If you haven't checked it out, go back and check out the female Waffle House theory. That was hilarious. I go back and listen to that, and I laugh my ass off to this day. But like we mentioned, we're super duper excited. A friend of a friend. So if you know Gen Reaper 552, he is a streamer on Twitch. We know him as Nick. He's come and hang out with us before. Wow, Dado, that was real good English. Hung out with us before.
Yes, hanged out with us.
Hey, listen, at least I got the word podcast out this time because
I'm proud of you.
That one normally doesn't
Struggling
come
a little
out.
bit.
Well, that's not one of your strong suits, saying that word.
It's not. It's like But we do want to give a warm welcome to a gentleman that you guys have probably seen in Nick's streams, or Gen Reaper 552. He goes by MaxRide90, but we're going to call him Justin tonight. Welcome on in, Justin. How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Hey, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. We wish you the best of luck. I know that Gabs was the welcoming party today, but I hope you're prepared.
I'm not the one usually inviting people.
I know.
I said, you know what? Why not?
Gabs didn't know what to do. He's like,
my brain turned off.
I guess.
But welcome on in. Yeah, it's super exciting. And we'd love to learn a little bit about you. So can you give us a background of, let's start with, how old is Justin? Where's Justin generally from? We don't need your zip code and your mailing address, but where's Justin from?
It'd be nice, not just.
I'm from a little town in Alabama called Gardendale.
Okay.
I'm 10 minutes from Birmingham. I'm 34 years old. And probably the childish person you'll ever meet. One of the child. Well, take that back. Take that back. One of the childish people you'll ever meet.
I was going to say, have you met me yet?
Right. He's been real quiet.
I try to be good. They give me a pep talk before we bring the guests on, and then I have to be on my best behavior.
Worse for
We
me.
have to remember we have guests.
You're right. We can't let Flinty on the loose. It just doesn't work that well. So Alabama, outside of Birmingham, and do you like long walks on the beach at Sutton? No, I'm just kidding.
I hate the beach, period. Anything that has sand and gets in between your toes, I don't want no part of it. If it ain't mud,
Well,
I don't want to do it.
So in
Arizona's not the place
some of
for
the
you.
notes that you sent, Gabs, it said you had how many kids in the family?
There's
I'm interested.
between like in the whole family itself, there's 30. I think 30. Some of them's gotten pregnant and had kids already, so I couldn't tell you exactly. That I know of since I've been coming up before they had kids, it was 36.
Holy shit!
That's
The
a lot of
only
toes and
boy.
fingers.
Oh, bro, you don't go to family reunions out here. I promise.
those aren't family reunions. Those are full-blown parties.
Bro,
But I,
Yeah,
mean,
boy,
I understand.
the old, and you'll never see me at a family reunion. It's too, excuse me, but there's too much estrogen for me. I just can't deal with it. I have enough, much less at a family reunion.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
So how many males in the family?
One him.
That's it?
Well, obviously the
No,
dad.
it's
but-
Obviously, dads.
I always have one of
Uncles and
those.
stuff, you know. Hell, I don't know. You don't get me lying to you. I'd have to ask my mother. I don't really know.
Call her. No, I'm kidding. Don't call her.
Live on the
I'm
podcast.
dead.
On a friend.
Family for 20 years. They
What was
ask
that?
me
I'm
every
sorry, I missed that.
Yep, gotta work, sorry. Even though I probably don't that day. They don't know that.
Sure.
It would keep it on the low though.
So you come from a large family in Alabama, and you made a joke about if no sand between your toes, but maybe some mud. I hear that you're an outdoorsman. What do you like to do? Are you a hunter, fisherman? What's your stitch?
Don't get me wrong, I love to fish, but my itch for hunting is something else. I remember when I was probably, I don't know, the first deer I got to shoot something was a deer at, I think I was 6, maybe. And from then till now, I have fueled that to something, a rage inside. I like right now. I was talking about it with Gabs the other day, and I was literally itching, scratching my hand. I mean, I was ready, ready. Here soon.
So, deer. What else can you hunt down in Alabama? I'm from Ohio, so excuse me. We have deer, turkey, pheasants, ducks, geese, hogs. If you're close enough to the southern part.
Yeah, we have a pretty bad hog problem. They passed the law. It was either last year or it was year before last, where it's open. Season's open all year round for hog. Because I mean, it wasn't last year, but it was it was the year they passed it. Matter of fact, during the summer, right around about this month or June, something like that. Which we got 200 acres. My grandpa, before he passed, I used to live in Fultondale, Alabama, which from where this property is that I live on now is, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. Right, you go out from my driveway and hit 31 and boom, you're in Fultondale. Well, when he passed, he didn't have anybody to will anything out to, so the state was going to come take it. Well, I was like, well, I'm the next in line but with him not having a will, it was up in probate. So I had to fight with half the other family. Yeah, because they were going to sell it. And I grew up on it. And I was like, there's no way I could just let that go. He wouldn't want that. And I sure wouldn't want that. I sure didn't want that. So luckily, the judge granted me to get this. And that's been it's been about 8 years now. And I thought I could handle it, but 200 acres is a lot to keep up by yourself. And which, I mean, I try, I do what I can, but our hours are so goofy, and I like to sleep when I'm home, which that never works, because as soon as I get off, I'm straight back outside trying to cut the grass, especially right now in the summer. Grass grows 10 inches a minute.
Yeah, right.
It's a
So
never-ending thing.
If I stand corrected, you work the 24/72 schedule?
I do.
Yeah. I'm
I
on the 48.
48/72. 48/72.
48/72.
I was working
48/96 is the best schedule in the world.
Bro, tell me about it. Tell me about it. The day that they gave me that shift, because when I first started, I was at Station 21. Well, we'll get into detail, I guess, with that whenever y'all are ready.
Run with it, man. Run with it.
I guess before you dive too deep into it, for the audience that doesn't know the cryptic scheduling that Flinty and Justin are talking about, they share the same profession. Because I could imagine sitting there and going, what math equation just happened? Because I don't know what they're talking about.
72? How does that add up?
Right. So I'm sorry, Justin. I just wanted to give the audience just a little bit of background there. Go ahead, buddy.
You good. Well, this was not a career path that I was going to take. My grandpa had beat policing into me at a very young age. He worked at Birmingham K-9 Unit, West Precinct, for 38 years, and he was a man in blue. That's all. That even when he retired, he was just everything by the books. He still thought he was a police officer. You'd have to basically tell him, "Hey, pops, you retired that badge a long time ago, son. You don't do this no more." So, but
it's something you never get out of them.
Oh man, a police, which I love them to death. Some of them, they tend to think they still have that so right to tell you, hey, I ain't got to pull over if I don't want to pull over. I have a badge just like you, so you can just wave me right on through. And that's how my grandpa literally would think that. I'd be embarrassed. We'd be get stopped for checking licenses and stuff, and he'd be piling like, "Oh, please don't pop that badge out." They're gonna look at you and be like, "Brother, you retired in 1971. Hey, your badge is old, son. Old, you Western."
Back when they forged it out of pure gold.
Legit. Hammer and forging it. But no, man, my grandmother and my mother were registered nurses at the hospital I was born at, which is closed now, which is very sad. It was the only hospital we had in the state until UAB was built that had a level 1 trauma. And they shut it down, and I don't know, I was very young. I couldn't tell you exactly when it happened, but now they bulldozed it down, and UAB is now the hospital you take for people with very life-threatening injuries. We'll just put it that way. And so my mother and, like I said, my grandmother, that side of the medical part, I really wasn't really into it that much until I, got on up in age. And one night, my grandpa was doing something in the garage. My grandmother knew the chief at this volunteer fire department in the city right next to us, which is Kimberly. And she'd come home at night, and I was out messing around with my car or something. And she's like, "Why don't you go up to Kimberly at the fire department up there, Clark, which was, the chief's name was Clark Combs, who she knew, said they'd love to have you up there. I was like, Grandma, I don't know nothing about no firefighting. I said, I ain't trying to do all that. It's like, well, just go check it out and see how you like it, blah, 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 blah. And I went, and if I could thank her now for doing that or getting me to go, I would thank her a million times over, because it turned into something that I didn't think nothing about, or something that I thought that I would enjoy doing, until I actually witnessed seeing it and actually performing duties of doing it, even though I was volunteering at the time. It is a very rewarding job. It's not for the faint hearted by no means. I mean, you got to have a mind that it. And I've seen my fair share, and I'm sure Flinty has seen his fair share. It's and sometimes it's hard to talk about it.
Sure.
Yeah, you can't where you fit. I'm sure everybody that is in the same field that we're in, you can't hang your feelings on your shoulder, because you got people standing behind you expecting you to, hey, save my mom, dad, blah blah blah.
You got to perform.
You're sitting there just like, I mean, there's nothing much I can do. I mean, they're and but anyway.
Yeah. So you started off as a volunteer?
I did. I started off as a volunteer. About 3 months into doing it, they sent me to 160 school. I got my volunteer certification. And
so
next thing,
I do have a question. What's the volunteer? Is it you set up like an 1153, like a Fire 1 type deal?
No, it's not. It's just, see, I went to rookie. I actually went to the Alabama Fire College and took professional Fire 1 and Fire 2 degree. Well, that's where I went to rookie school at. Volunteer certification was just more or less like, I don't really know how to explain how 160 was. It was like your basic knowledge of learning what the air pack was. It was just learning everything about the fire side of it without doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of what 1152 and 1153 are. That's intro to firefighting. That's basically what we call it here in South Carolina.
What's amazing is I thought everybody that did police and did fire, did all that, I thought everything was the same, but it is so not the same. There's some, I don't remember who the guy was I was talking to in Tyler's chat, but he was somewhere from the west, way out west, like Nevada, out that way, and all their stuff was totally different compared to the things down here, which might be different where you're at, Flinty. I'm not sure, as far as codes and stuff like that being called out or whatnot. What battalion?
Sure. Sure. And so you started off as a volunteer. Grandma kind of gave you the inspiration or the nudge, you could say, to go into it. How long have you been in the service for?
Since I was 21. I'm 34 now. I've been doing it professionally for 8 years.
We're going on right
4 years.
Same time frame.
You're around the same age as me, ain't you, Flinty?
Yeah, I'm turning 30 this year.
30. Damn, I'm old.
You might be the oldest person in the
chat. Allegedly. I started volunteering back in 2013, 2014.
2013, 2014. I think I was going through my paramedic school during that time. I was.
Okay. Man, so you're all the way, you're Sparkly Patch.
Yeah, I'm Sparkly Patch.
What the hell does that mean?
Also, when I was in, that's what everybody calls medics. Yeah. Oh, look, you got the little Sparkly Patch on your shirt. Aren't you cool? Ooh, you innovative.
I mean, I could innovate.
Well,
just
see, when
saying.
I was going through, which they took intermediate out here, but we had to go through EMT basic, then that was prerequisite for intermediate. Then you had to go through intermediate. And only difference between intermediate and paramedic here was a combi tube, which no one uses no more. Or at least we don't here. And I'm like, y'all mean to tell me I'm school for a fucking year for a fucking combi tube? So why don't y'all just delete this whole middle section out and send my ass right on to medic school? Please, just this is stupid.
See, now you could go from EMTB and just challenge paramedic. You don't like they completely took out intermediate. They still have advanced,
Right?
but you could skip advanced. You go straight for the sparkly patch.
That's what everybody does here. They go from EMT and go straight to medic, which I started with one. See, here with as long as you had your 160 certification and you was an EMT basic, you could work at a fire department part time. So
Okay,
I started part time working at Palmerdale Fire and Rescue, which is I could throw a rock and hit it from here. Other thing I don't know, it's not a big city department. They pay all their firefighters off fire dues, and we had a big deal with a fire. It was a good while back, and the people that lived there didn't pay their fire dues for like, I don't know, 2 years. Well, we didn't get in trouble for it, but the chief we didn't go to the call. They didn't pay their fire dues, and it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by fire dues. So if I'm picking up what you're putting down is that you pay again with the word
every year
dues,
you'll pay.
Go ahead.
It's every month. I think they changed it now, which I don't work on that part anymore. I'm not associated with it, but like where I live now, I don't pay fire dues because I live in unincorporated Jefferson County. So it would be a big city department would have to come out here basically because there's railroad tracks literally a mile from my driveway. Exactly it's like 1.1 mile. Palmerdale and Glenwood Fire Department host this area, like their jurisdictions kind of line up with each other. Well, Palmerdale is closer to us, so when they would get to the railroad tracks, they would stop right there, even though their jurisdiction was over the railroad track. You would have my grandpa sat here was having a heart attack. This is what really got me really into the fire service. When they wouldn't cross that track to come down here and pick his ass up, was that that's just you just don't. I would take the fall and get in trouble before I let somebody sit here and die of a heart attack and I'm right just a mile. Why don't you cross them damn tracks? What's the tracks? There ain't no train coming. Come across them and come down here and do your job.
That's what's
regardless
killing the
of
fire service
nowadays.
Trouble,
And then they wouldn't. They literally wouldn't. They come down. Glenwood come around all the way around, brought a stretcher down there, and they wheeled him from his house that I live in now all the way up the driveway in a stretcher now on a gravel driveway. Him having a heart attack and cardiac arrest, going up and all the way down the road and pushed him to that ambulance.
Wow.
Where he died in the hospital.
Shit like that is ruining some of the stuff about this job because no matter where you're at, you have it. It's the same thing like back in the day around here. There was people that literally would turn around straight up entrapment. Somebody's dying in a car accident or something. Homeboy in a fire truck literally turned the truck around and says, "Nah, that's the county's problem," and went back to the station.
Wow.
See, you could lose your licenses, everything you have. If you're on anywhere near a scene where there's somebody need help and you're there, are around and somebody they find out,
Sure.
they could strip you of everything you got.
Yep.
You lose
jail. You're
everything.
like facing jail time.
Which I
Felony
think is fair.
charges.
Yep.
I
I mean
think
that's
it's fair.
I agree. I think it's 100% fair. I mean, I have not, which I mean, there hadn't been maybe 2 times in my career that I have actually been off duty coming home or just be at home, been off that day and somebody, wrecked in front of the driveway or something, not be something super bad where it was life threatening injuries and stuff, but still you're there to serve and protect regardless if you're at work or you're here. You swore in.
You could ask these guys. We'd be in the middle of streaming or something, and like I'd hear the tones go off because I keep a radio with me. I'm like, hey guys, I gotta go. I gotta go, and I leave.
If it's where I work, it's maybe 15 minute drive, but now I used to, like I said, where I was volunteering at, I did do that still, just on site because that's where I started. I was, it's like having your alma mater. If you graduated college, you'd still have some kind of ties with it.
Sure.
And after I had left and took the city personnel board test, passed, and was able to get hired on at a bigger department, or actually got hired on at a big department, I kind of swayed away from it. And then next thing you know, all the people that you did know is all different now. And then they look at you like, well, that's what stuff used to be. And that's another thing that's killing departments too. You have all these people, the old school, which that's the way I'm going to put it, which that did it all the old school way. And you got all these younger cats, we'll call them cats, that are trying to, I'm going to say this loudly, try to outdo. Maybe that ain't the word I'm looking for. And it's a brotherhood. The guys I work for, I trust my life with any of them. And that's something that you got to kind of tilt your head down and deal with, because that's it. I mean, you go into a burning building, these 3 guys that are behind me, I'm going to trust them that if I fall or something happens, they're going to get me out.
Sure.
You ain't got no trust in any of them guys you work with, it'll never work. It'll never work out. And I look at them like they're my second family. We all hang out. We go to wives' parties and birthdays and all that, just like you would with your own family.
It's an extension of the family.
Literally.
It's the best.
Something that
It's the best feeling
I
in the world,
love it,
being
man.
part of it.
It really is. It's the most rewarding career that I know of. I don't know of another one that could even come close to being that rewarding. You get to go out, somebody's dying, and you get to try to save that person's life, get them to the hospital, whatnot, and then they live. And the most rewarding to me is I've had 2. It's only been 2 people that's ever done it. I have literally come back and wanted to know what firemen were on scene, what met, blah, 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 just to thank you for saving their life. And that's something that hits home to me a lot, which I've got a heart the size of Mount Everest. So
that's
to hang mine on my shoulders when I probably shouldn't. My feelings, I try not to get into my feels, especially when it comes to deeds like that. But sometimes, man, you just can't. It wants to come out, and you have to let it out. And it's a good thing to do, but it's not good to do it, right there on scene or anything. So that's where I was coming out with, as far as having you not being able to hang your feelings
out on live. Putting this out on live, man. This is what we're doing it for, man. If you need anything, I mean, I know I'm a few states away, but we share the same profession, man. I'm one phone call away, one DM away, man.
Same here, brother.
Yeah. I can't imagine, I've said this in past podcasts, and I will preach this until the end of time. What you guys do is absolutely amazing. And this is where Flinty's going to give me a look, because he hates when I do this, of generally thanking you guys for what you do, because I couldn't run into a burning building. It is admirable. So thank you. And I can imagine some of the things, and we're not going to go into it. It's just general statement here of what you've seen, what you've had to deal with, what you carry with you every day, and still continue to show up and do it over and over and over again. So I speak for myself, and I think Gabs and Brian and many of the people listening to this podcast and saying thank you to you guys for what you do.
Of course.
You gotta thank me. I'm no different than each one of y'all sitting in this podcast right now. I'm just a regular old guy that gets up and goes to work just like anyone else does. Just mine might just be different, but I'm just a regular average Joe.
I don't get to push people off the road to get to my job. I'm just saying. I don't get big blinky lights.
You could, but somebody would say something.
Right, yeah, I get pulled over and get questioned.
I have blinky lights, but it's on my mixer.
The best way I look at it, every time I go in, like I'm going on shift tomorrow. I'm going to be on tomorrow and Monday. I get to wake up and I get to do the best job in the world. Like I'm not even actually working. I'm on Medic 32 tomorrow. And then I think Monday we're going to go do some ladder truck training and doing all that stuff. Dude, I get to do hood rat stuff with my friends, man. You wake up and do hood rat stuff with your friends.
Brother,
It's so much fun.
Each other so bad that sometimes we take it too extreme. Last month, one of the lieutenants ended up damn spiking the mashed potatoes that he made, and I had never had the screaming squirts so bad. And I ain't talking about, I'm talking about projectile. Like, and he loved it. I'm like, bro, so if something was to pop off real bad right now, I can't go. There's no way. No way. No way. It was every 10 minutes.
I'll be here moral support.
See, that's a one rule about the station house jokes. We don't mess with food.
That was the last time.
Number one rule. Everything else is free game. Like I might have went on to like a brush fire with my chief. What's that?
You said our chief is more childish than the whole damn crew put together.
Oh,
He's the one that you got to watch for too.
So I went with our deputy chief.
Towel and whip you right in the fucking ass. What? Wet too. Talking about man, welts all down your legs.
So chief, if you're listening to this, I had no part of it.
Okay.
Complete deniability right now. Just to let you know, I'm not going to give any names, but there's a certain lieutenant that was there after the fact of this brush fire, and your gear got hung up in the rafters. I didn't have part of it. I might have given it to him, but I did not tie it up. Complete deniability. Don't fire me. I love you.
I promise I'll never.
But he may or may not have seen it happen.
I might have taken a few pictures.
I didn't stop it.
It was
Now
funny.
that's our chief.
Our battalion chief. Like he's a hoot too, man.
So, dude, my battalion chief, we've broke him over this past 6 months.
Man, ours have literally. He's cool, but then again, he's like straight to the point type guy, and he means well. I know he means well, but the way he kind of runs it when we're on scene or something, he's a little bit. I don't know how to. He obviously does. He runs the show. He's a battalion chief, but. I'm just sitting there. I'm just looking dumb as shit in the damn rescue. Like, man, he's about to make me get up out this damn truck and put gear on and go with these idiots. You can watch and see. I was sitting there telling Tony that the other day we was sitting, had a little apartment fire. It wasn't nothing bad. Somebody threw a cigarette in the damn garbage can and lit the damn kitchen on fire, which is like a normal thing here. They love to throw cigarettes in garbage cans. Couldn't tell you why. Don't know why. Why are you even smoking in the house? Why not go outside?
Trying to give you something to do.
Oh, we
Job
have plenty.
security.
I was about to say job security right there.
We don't see Alabama on the news or nothing like that in y'all's area, but if you were to turn it on news right now, I could guarantee that A Shift right now went on at least 5 GSWs, at least, because we have at least 5 homicides a night in Birmingham. Like our murder rate here is it's bad.
We go
It's
through
very
seasons.
bad. Our seasons is 24/365.
So do y'all run ambulances out of your stations or ALS engines?
We run ALS ambulances
So you got ambulances and fire trucks
and engines. Yeah.
Okay. We're dual service also.
28's where the ladder trucks or that battalion runs out of. I'm in 22. They call it the retirement home station. Why in the hell I got put lucky enough to be here beyond me. But
for a while there, I was down at our vacation station, as we call it.
Station
25.
New names for these retirement home stations. I like it.
See, down here in South Carolina, like my county, we do have suicide engines. I don't know if you're familiar with suicide engines.
No, that's a new one there. I hadn't.
So
suicide.
It's a one man engine.
Yeah.
We have 4 one-man engines. So that's 4 stations with 1 person at it. We just got the budget approved. We're buying 11 new trucks. We're building 3 more stations, and we're hiring like fucking crazy right now.
That's crazy talking about that, because we've been hiring for the last 2 years. That is, I thought that was a big, bunch of people wanted to do that type, and it's really not. It's becoming a trade that people aren't really. I guess they're scared of the fact to know that you could die doing it, but
Sure.
here it is hell just to find just a basic firefighter, much less with any medical training.
It's hard enough to find anybody with the will to work anymore.
That is a 100% truth right there.
I think it's also the fact that we have to wear plate carriers whenever we go on EMS calls.
Yeah, yep. We're not allowed to even step out of the ambulance unless there's police done got seen, took care of, and it's we're all right, y'all come on in.
Yeah, there's some parts of my county, man. It takes the police 45 minutes to show up. So it's like, okay, well, if you show up to a GSW,
I'm not getting out.
I might be a little more crazy.
You see it in his eyes. He's like, I'm getting out. I don't give a shit. I'm getting out.
I see it in my eyes. Shit. Because I don't know what, and most of all downtown Birmingham, or where, because I'm on the south side, or my station's on the south side, which is kind of a uppity, but not uppity. Like you could walk out the back of the station and be in not uppity, and walk out the front and be in uppity neighborhood. That's just how the geological area of that section right there works. And we have, I don't know if it's bad up there, but we have a very, very, very bad fentanyl problem here. It's literally taken over. Most medical calls that we have ran in the past 2 years, I'd say 8 out of 10 were fentanyl overdoses.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is a pandemic almost here, and between that and we'll just say people getting shot is basically that's mostly what we run normally.
Ours is usually ODs, GSWs, or breathing difficulties, which end up turning out to be linked to a drug overdose.
Yep. Or smoking cancer sticks 24/7.
Yeah, you get those COPD patients.
We're
generally a really rural area. We got 14 stations. We got 3 or 4 stations that are kind of like in our industrial, more uppity. Brian could tell, like, kind of contest to, like, the south end of the county is more of the, how do I want to put it, richer part of the county.
There's more money flowing through there.
Yeah.
More money. I don't know if I call it uppity per se, but definitely more money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
it's about how it's there.
I do have a question for you, Justin. And when you're not hanging out at the firehouse saving lives, what is something that you like to do outside of work? I know that we see you in a handful of streams. Do you stream? What's something that you do to escape the everyday life
Man,
of being a firefighter?
Honestly, before I got into the fire service, I like to piddle with muscle cars.
Okay.
I love messing with cars. I get that from I don't even know who the hell I get that from. To be honest with you, There's no house set for me.
Somewhere, though.
But that's my first job. I worked at or not my first job, but before I got actually doing the job I'm in now, I worked at Sarah Toyota, and they sent me through Master Tech school, and I became a Master Technician. And I got burnt out on it real quick, because who wants to work on cars every single day of their life and bust their knuckles wide open every 5-10 minutes, cuss, throw a wrench halfway across the shop? I got tired of that really, really quick. But I'm glad I did it, because it's amazing how much, I don't know how much it's up there in South Carolina, but a basic oil change down here is right around $80 just for oil change.
Well,
Yeah,
you could go to a
here in
shop.
Ohio.
Some shops you could get them for like $40.
Right. And, and then we ain't even go into if you got a motor that's knocking or just alternator replacement, something like that right there. Just the labor, not even including with the parts, would cost more than what most of the time what the car's worth.
Sure. Yeah, you
So-
got to make the decision to fix it or sell it.
That's me. And to this day, even if I wanted to, you could not make me go buy a new car right now. The value of it, as soon as you drive it off the lot, they depreciate so much.
Mhm.
It could have only 3 miles on it. You turn around and drive it back across the lot, and it would depreciate $10,000-$15,000 just like that. And you ain't even drove it a quarter of a mile down the street. And so, as far as that, which the newest thing that I own is a 2003.
Okay.
Because the way that I've learned is a car that has been through its hiccups and its little battles. Because a new car is going to go through it, and it's going to go through it bad. You might end up putting 2-3 motors in that car before you find one. Oh, this one's broke in pretty good here.
Sure. Right. It's like buying an old diesel truck. Until you get to 100,000+ miles, that fucker ain't broke in yet.
You ain't lying. Say about that Pierce.
It's got a newer 2017 5-speed.
Well, I've got a 2003 HD. I'm a big Chevy person. Chevy till I die. Fords can roll off that damn rescue truck. I swear. I was telling
Careful
you, I
now,
said,
you're gonna offend Merc Market there.
sorry, Merc, but Fords are going. I mean, and there's duds with all makes and models.
Sure,
I ain't gonna just. But I was raised around Chevrolets, and just what I know, they're cheap to work on. I know that everybody says, "Oh, cracked head, every valve rattles, will leak every time." Well, you can come down here and look at this 2003. It ain't got no cracked head. The valves don't rattle. Now it does got a little bit of oil leak, but other than that,
At least you're aware of it, right?
It's a Chevy. It's going to leak. If it's not leaking, there's a problem.
it ain't a Chevy.
I had a
Motor in there.
Brian. What year was my S10?
Yeah, it was a 01, I think.
Yeah, it was an 01 or an 02 S10 4.3. That thing leaked like
Destructible engine.
Yeah, well, I got a hold of it.
Apparently, you don't know Flinty that well. He can destroy anything. Don't let him drive your shit.
So whenever
let me
they
make that
say
clear.
we need to force a door, I am the guy that they're calling.
Don't call me to force the door. I'll look at you stupid. Like, no, not my job.
So muscle
Childish.
cars being something that you're passionate about is muscle cars and being a bow tie guy. What would be a go-to dream muscle car for you?
I'd be lying if I didn't say I have one sitting here,
Okay.
but she looks pretty rough. She's a big old rust bucket, but that's okay. But what I was really gotten into here lately is El Caminos. There's just something about El Camino. I mean, you look back at El Camino when they first come out, it's like that's like the first SUV, or we'll say truck SUV together.
Sure.
Yeah.
My grandpa had a 77, which I don't like the body style of them. They're too fat. Now, in the early 80s, El Caminos, when they had the double squared headlights,
Mhm.
they rounded the style a little bit more and made it a little bit thinner, where it was, I think I'll say compact, but it didn't look like a boat going down the road.
Sure.
And
So I take it that's what you got sitting there?
No, I got a Chevelle SS that
Ooh.
that's my rust bucket. She's a yard ornament too, but she don't. I have had 2 or 3 people come by and say, "You want to say no? Don't even look at that car. That car's mine."
So what type of motor's going in it?
I have not made. Well, hell, it's gonna be a long time before the motor goes in it because I got a lot of body work's gonna have to be done to it before. But I mean, it is so by now. I mean, if you was to just drive around and see, that's another thing I like to do. I like to just drive around looking people's yards. That's how I found the El Camino. That's how I found the Chevelle, and I got lucky on the Chevelle, which it wasn't a big old rust bucket at the time. But I just don't have the time right now to do anything with it.
Sure.
My shop, I've got a shop on the property too, but I've got so much crap in it between four wheelers and Evil Knievel jumping stunt. Not really, but I do like to do stupid stunts out in the middle of the woods because I think I am Evil Knievel, even though I'm not. It is fun to think until you wreck, and four wheelers don't give at all. Neither does water and mud and rocks. They hurt very bad.
At least you're medically trained to deal with it in the moment.
Yeah, until you mess around and break stuff that, regardless of training, you're just sitting there like, well, how are we going to get
You're right.
bitch army crawl?
So I'm gonna start a little bit of a debate here. So you're a bow tie guy. If I had to pick a muscle car, a dream muscle car that I could just go out in my driveway and just grab keys and it magically appears, mine would be a Dodge Roadrunner or Plymouth Roadrunner. I'm sorry, Plymouth Roadrunner. I'm gonna get roasted in the fucking chats for that one, but
They don't know muscle cars because that's one of the top muscle cars. I mean, hell, that was one of the first NASCARs that made 200 miles an hour on track.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And Plymouth Roadrunner, there's just
That would be my dream car. Large spoiler, everything.
Yes, that's the only way I would have one. I don't want nobody to don't put that big ass wing on there. I want everybody to see me coming down the road.
Right.
But my ideal thing, and I know people are going to crack on me for this too because of Ford, but I've got a couple of tags that I've been wanting to do it. I ain't found one yet, but I'm trying to find a Fox body Mustang, and I'm going to put a in it. And I'm going to stick this tag right smack on the front of it, just because it says Ford Tough, Chevrolet Stuffed. To drag everybody's ass down that drag strip. And, well, what are you running underneath that, man? It's a 4-cylinder. Don't worry about it.
A buddy of mine had a
Original
Fox
Force.
body.
Man, it's
Like
hard to
that.
find Mustangs here. Like a 95 around that area, 95, 94 model Fox body, or not Fox body. Did I say Fox body?
Yeah.
Yes.
The 80s, them ain't 90s. Or am I? See, I don't know my Fords very well. I'm not.
Brian, you want to chime in?
I think that was late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, I was just saying because the one that the dude that has one, he's got a
92.
badass strip. I think his was like a 90 or 89, something like that. It'll run.
I think the
but it's got-
last year was like 94 for the Fox bodies.
Okay, then I might be right then, because the way I'd have to show you a picture of the one that I'm thinking of, but it's more rounded. It ain't square. I know in the late 80s they were kind of squared. I mean they were still kind of rounded, but yet a little bit newer. We'll say I'm gonna say it was the one this yellow one that I was saying. It was like a 93 maybe. 94, but I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I don't know my Fords very well.
Yeah,
So
mine would be an Impala.
Ooh.
Like the Supernatural Impala.
Yeah, exactly like the Supernatural, dude. That is such a sexy beast.
That is a big cloud rolling down the roads. And you're talking about just sitting there, just oh yeah, doing 100 and something. Just floating.
Oh yeah, and it's got to have that really just chunky boy sound underneath the freaking hood. Just whoa, 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 whoa.
Drop
You're
5
living alone.
that big. Couldn't pass a gas station for nothing.
No,
Everyone. Every pump works in the county. Let me tell you what.
One of them where you stomping at the red light and you just watch the fuel gauge go. Well, check.
There's
You
a-
literally watch the gauges drop.
Yeah, right. There's a funny story that I know that Flinty has heard from my parents. So I'm 30. My sister's 7 years older than me. So doing quick math, my sister was born in the 80s. So my parents are 60, 70, 80s babies, right? That they grew up in rock and roll. And my dad be like, I grew up in drugs and rock and roll. And
70s, man.
yeah, hey man. Anyways, so there's a story, and this is gonna make Flinty die. Watch this. So there's a story that my dad tells, and he makes it explicitly clear. If he goes, it wasn't for you effing kids, I'd still have my Trans Am T-tops, gold and black, looking like fucking Smokey and the Bandit. But y'all had to come around and mess that shit up.
I'm a fucking Chevette.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, they went to a Shadow, and then they went to a Plymouth minivan. So yeah,
Lost my sports car because of you kids.
yeah.
Going from bad to worse.
Yeah, I can still see him with the freaking Burt Reynolds mustache and the slick back.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see it. He's still rocking that shit.
He is. And he breaks out that finger and he starts pointing at you when he tells that story too. I'm like, I'm
You're
sorry.
raising T-tops.
Right.
Pull out, damn it.
Right. Not my fault.
That's what I told my wife. I said, whenever kids start to come around, I said, I ain't getting rid of none of my cars. I said, you can still have your Tahoe and carry them around, but Daddy ain't losing these cars. They ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to bury me with them because they ain't leaving.
You already got the casket prepared. It's right there. Just put them in the trunk and send them down the river.
Me in the damn truck, bury the car. I'm good to go.
No,
I like to. Go ahead.
No. I just when you think about muscle cars, there's a mutual friend of some of us here in the podcast, and he has a newer muscle car, a newer Camaro, and I love him. The car's awesome. It sounds amazing. It's slick as hell, right? I can't look at a 2000 and up, year car and go, yeah, that's a muscle car. I struggle with it. I just
I agree.
they're
I agree
cool.
100%.
They're sweet as shit, but it's just like,
Most definitely. That's like me too. I'm the same way. When I think muscle, I think 60s, 70s era vehicles. That's when true muscle car era was around. You look at these ZL1 Corvettes, like look at the new Corvette. You go from, we'll say a 65 model Stingray to a Corvette now, they have changed the Corvette so much to where the new ones now look like a damn Lamborghini. They don't even look like a Corvette.
And depending what's in
then
them, they're classified as supercars.
which
They don't
Corvette's
even have
probably
the same engine, please.
No.
Would you call a Ford GT40 a muscle car? The old 60s, one of the Le Mans?
I don't know if I could call it a muscle car. It'd be, I don't know. I really don't know what I would. That to me, that'd be like, you know, in a Ferrari
Supercar.
and then a supercar. Yeah, that's what I would think of.
40s or
GT.
whatever the hell.
Yeah, it's an old unicorn.
This very the Shelby old Cobras. Like now that's a muscle car. That would probably be the only Ford muscle that I would own if I could find a real Shelby. Which if you do, you're gonna pay out the ass for it.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Most beautiful. They just don't make them like they used to no more. That's the way to put it. Nowadays, you get in a wreck with a car. These new cars, they're gonna buckle and just right up into a square. You hit a 67, 68, and we'll say Camaro or hell a C10 truck. You're gonna have a little scratch on your bumper. That other car is gonna be looking like, damn, brother, what the hell did you hit?
Yeah, that reminds me of a story. My grandparents used to have, what was it? It was a late 90s 2500 Silverado, 8-foot bed, extended cab. So big boy, right? And
Right.
my grandma's, she's backing out of her driveway in her cute little house in a small town here in Ohio. And her brother had a old Cadillac. I can't remember the year. It was probably 80, something like that. It was a coupe and just had it repainted pink, a pink Cadillac, just repainted.
Okay.
And grandma just boop, right in reverse, wham, right into this Cadillac. Didn't feel it, just drove off. Just kept going, came back. And her brother's in the yard, like pissed off, crying. She's like, "What happened to your Cadillac?" He's like, "You hit it." The hell do you mean what happened to my Cadillac?
Stretch my caddy.
Yeah,
You didn't tell me, I'd have never known.
right.
So I know this is a good topic, but also I gotta ask, what got you into gaming? Just real fast, like what really set it off? Like where'd you start at?
You said gaming?
Yeah, like what was like one of the first games you played?
Man. Oh, damn. I want to say sorry. I think that was like one of the first things I've ever played or that I played as a kid, as far as that. But as far as like nowadays, I honestly don't. The last gaming console I had was the Super Nintendo. If that tells you anything, I couldn't work a damn Xbox right now or a PlayStation. If I depended on working one of those, we'd all die. If it was oh, goodness, Justin, you're the one you got to work this. Well, hell, we're dying because I don't know how. I'm telling you. I'm watching the ARP role play and the server that I'm in now with the Academy role play. It's just I don't know. I remember like how I used to back in the older like regular PlayStation stuff where you could like take on NFL Blitz or something like that and watch both the computers play the actual game.
Yeah.
I got more off on watching the two computers play than I did playing the game. That just shows how lazy I am. But it was more. I don't even know how to put it, but I enjoyed watching somebody else play than me play because hell, I sucked at it anyway. And the last game that I really played was Grand Theft Auto, which it was at a buddy's house. Like I said, I was always out, man. I grew up. We didn't have a whole lot of money. Like I said, my real dad is from Spain. I've never met the man. I know it just from what I've been told, and how that could not be true either. I don't know. But the pictures that I have of him, he's either way. In my eyes, he's a POS, and I don't have nothing for him. I didn't need him. I don't need him now. If he come into my life now, I wouldn't bash him, but I would let him know how I felt.
Which is
But
understandable.
For sure.
So go ahead, Mike.
You said that you're in TARP, Justin. So you're gaming.
I don't stream in TARP. I moderate for a couple of the streamers in TARP.
Gotcha.
I would now if I had the time to sit down on a computer and be able to learn everything. I would love to be able to get into it, but with me having all this I got to take care of as far as property wise, then work. I just don't have the time to be able to do it. If I guess if I had a bunch of workers that get out here and cut my grass every day or whatnot, I guess I could get a few hours in on a computer. But I would prefer just to be outside. That's my haven, my safe haven. I feel more at peace and stuff when I'm outside, and that's what I tend to when I get off, or if I'm like this weekend. I don't work this weekend, so I've been outside most of the day. Which then again, I know I told Gabs, I'm deathly terrified of snakes. I hate
the old nose ropes.
Anything that looks like a damn worm that makes that movement, I'm gonna kill it. I don't care if it's a damn noodle that just got somehow or another out of Walmart's parking lot and started floating down a little river. If I see it, I'm gonna shoot it. I don't do snakes. I had a bad run in with one when I was young. I had one chase me through a blackberry patch. I ain't never ran so damn fast. Them Moses 8000s I had on my feet, them Jesus sandals. I had them baby weekend running.
And that's 4 high.
Man, black racers will chase you something. You get in a blackberry patch and there's a black snake in there, you better back up slowly. Even though they're harmless, he's gonna run your ass down like Usain Bolt, I promise you. But the only way to make them stop, I thought this was an old wives' tale. If you would turn around and run back at the snake, it's like playing tag with a little kid, except you're just not tagging each other. If you turn and run at the snake's gonna run away. But as soon as you turn your ass around and take off, he's coming right back at you until you got to run him in the tree line.
See, we got to be careful down here. We got rattlers. We got coral snakes. We got water moccasins. We got a whole bunch of danger noodles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know about here.
Here is because Alabama, we're mostly water. We have a shit ton of lakes, and right here and being in central Alabama, we're in the variety of all the flavors of danger noodles right in the middle. It's like the climate is perfect for every single one of them, and they tend to love to be in my yard every day.
It's like a 200-acre sanctuary.
Oh, bro! I look. This is how childish I am. I literally when I got inherited or got the property, I bush hogged every field out here down to where, and then after I bush hogged it, I ran over it with a lawnmower down to where I had it cut to the dirt, just so my quad, and I make a loop every morning. I make a loop all the way around the property to see how many's laying out there and how many I can shoot before I get back to the house. That's what I look forward to in the mornings. If that ain't childish, I don't know what is.
Nah, that just sounds like fun.
Snake Patrol. Got it.
So good. I started with just shooting them with a 12 gauge, which that's just easy. When you start being able to shoot them about 40 feet away with a 40 handgun, oh, you doing something. You got some good ass aim. Tick, 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 tick. I know, which I ain't got no neighbors or anything, but if I did, Lord help, they'd think I was out here murdering half the city.
I think Brian knows about that.
Oh yeah.
I love shooting snakes. Oh my God. It's like a pastime that just keeps coming back. Just love it. Summer comes around. If you ain't hunting during the wintertime, getting to hunt animals that you like to hunt, but then you get to hunt danger noodles during the summer. Love shooting them. Love it.
So I know we're creeping up on probably what, an hour and 15 minutes on this. I think we're gonna ask you that really hard question, and then we're probably gonna have to get you back for a part 2.
Oh,
I want to hear
brother,
more
I like
about the
speaking.
danger
Yeah,
noodles.
I definitely want to get you back. I know I got shift tomorrow, and I want to hear your answer to that really hard question that Gabs is going to ask you again, because it completely left my mind, and I'm terrible. So
It's
go ahead, ask that
Dado's
again.
question.
Oh, it's Dado's question.
It's Dado's question.
Nobody wants to take accountability for the question. So, Justin, as we learned about you from finding out the avid outdoorsman that you are, the 8 plus years in the fire service that you have, and all of the things that you've done for your community there, to hanging out on your 200 acres and then doing your I'm going to call it a snake patrol every morning. That we've learned so much. So thank you for being open. But as we typically end the podcast with a guest, we always like to ask one question. And that question is, if you had to tell your younger self one thing, what would that be?
Man. Oh, if I had to tell my younger self one thing, I mean, the first thing I'd probably say is don't be so childish as you are now. But in reality, I'd probably, and that's a hard one there. There's so many things that I wouldn't want to do again, but then again, I wouldn't want to be so hard on myself. That would be what I'd want to tell, because I was, like I said, growing up around with a bunch of women, I more or less, I had to learn most things on my own. Didn't have a how to look up to. So I was hard on myself when I got of age of, you need to be able to do this and do this exact to the T. And I look back on it and I'm like, I didn't have to do all that. I mean, I literally, and I didn't. I mean, I had everything I needed to be able to know how to become a man, whatever. And
Sure.
I was hard on myself I still am sometimes.
Yeah,
But I think that with being a guy and having the role of being a man, you got to be hard on yourself sometimes, especially in the job fields that we're in. I'm not better than anybody. I'm not. I think I'm just like we were talking about earlier. I'm just an average Joe. That's
Sure.
it.
That's completely relatable. Like I said, we ask every guest that to just bring a little bit of the personal connection behind who we see on these streams, who, Gabs is, who Flinty is, who Brian is, myself, all that we're all just average Joes, and we love hanging out with people. And again, Justin, thank you for hanging out with us and sharing and being so open with the boys here. I've learned a lot. And if you guys are in Gen Reaper 552 stream or Courtesy Flush and you see Justin there under Ignore Max or Max Ride, whatever stream name he decides to go with during that time, give him a shout out.
As soon as them 60 days are up, trust me. That ignore stuff, it got me confused. Sometimes I don't even know who I am. I'm like, who the heck was that ignored guy in there? Oh, that's you, dummy. Come on now.
Right. So if you see him in those streams, give him a shout. Tell him you saw him here on Between the Mics. I do know as we come out of this episode, we want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with us and listening. There is some very exciting things happening. Make sure you check out the link in the description. Our website's up. Our merchandise is live. We got some really, really exciting stuff coming with a collaboration with another streamer that we will get to in a future episode. But As always, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hit that like button, subscribe, hang out with us more. There's plenty more Between the Mics coming. We'll catch you in the next one. Love you. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.